This hyperactive boy was on a plane for the first time. He raised his finger and aimed it at the man, who expected that man also very coordinated. The boy laughed and wanted to play again. This time the man raised his hand when a handcuff was exposed. The boy's face immediately changed. This time he met the professional guy. The boy's mother was worried and immediately called the flight attendant. "Is that handcuffed man dangerous?" The flight attendant laughed and grabbed the boy's cheek with her hand. "Peace of mind, can't die." After saying that, she opened a plate of food. Gunfire rang out. 2 FBI agents turned into cold bodies. The man took off the handcuffs and took the gun directly into the cockpit. "Who is the boss?" "Me." "Now what? Who is the boss?" "You." It turns out this is a plan to hijack the plane. Charles Rain is a cruel person who would dare to do anything. He is wanted around the world, but it is difficult to catch him, because after he committed the crime, he had face change surgery. His title is Terror of Thousand Faces. Rain went to the hospital today to pull his skin when suddenly the FBI team burst in. He has only way to jump the window to escape and then drive away. But suddenly there was a water truck passing by. This means his destiny this year has not been smooth. Rain is arrested. The FBI must extradite him to Los Angeles because he did not want to go to jail. He could only hijack the plane. He bribed the flight attendant, changed the logistics department, arranged some of his juniors to pretend to be passengers. His plan is extremely convenient. All passengers are restrained. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to everyone whose planes have been hijacked. Now, everyone, please sit still. Do not move. If not... The active boy from before was trembling even more. Rain found that extremely pleased. But he did not know that, in this plane, not only the ordinary passengers, but also a secret agent of the FBI. Right now he was hiding in the toilet to prepare for a fierce battle. Then suddenly he heard gunshots and screams. What happened? He doubted. He pushed the door open to see. It turned out that a bunch of people were robbing planes. This man, widower John Cutter, is an FBI agent. He specializes in handling aircraft robbery cases. Recently, airlines are strictly controlled, so Cutter has not had a job for a long time. He just went to participate in training the flight attendants in self-defense. Cutter took out the emergency phone, then called a colleague to report the situation. At that time, the juniors saw something unusual about the toilet. Taking advantage of the loophole, Cutter sneaked on that person. Then he grabbed him tightly, gave him water, massaged him. Cutter used his junior's life to intimidate Rain, but Rain had no mercy. He pushed the flight attendant away and took an innocent passenger. Cutter had to surrender. In the chaos, he took the flight attendant Marty to hide into the elevator. He pulled out the fuel hose. The plane ran out of fuel, so it had to make an emergency landing. But Rain was not afraid at all, because he's holding hostages in his hands. Cutter also understands that in the air, he is not a rival to Rain. He wants to let the plane land and wait for help to come. He led Marty to the back door. Suddenly, Cutter was kicked out of the plane and Marty was captured again. Rain opened the microphone to negotiate with the local sheriff. Within 5 minutes, if he does not see the return of fuel tank, he will kill 5 people every 3 minutes. Sheriff looked at the telescope and saw several bodies that had been thrown off the plane. He knew Rain wasn't joking. Rain relented a step. He said that, as long as he saw the fuel truck, he would release half the passengers. As expected, the sheriff was deceived. At that time 2 policemen found Cutter lie on the ground, face down. Cutter explained he was the FBI, but no one believed. His face doesn't look like a good guy. He's pretending to be FBI. The sheriff also did not believe his words. Your face doesn't look like a good person. Cutter feels desperate. Why am I not like a good person? Cutter beat 2 young policemen secretly and then drove away. Now the fuel truck has arrived. Rain also kept his promise, releasing half the passengers. But his real purpose is to want to break into the group of hostages and secretly hide. Cutter ruined this plot. He drove the motorbike after him. Rain led his juniors to blend into a nearby amusement park. People are very crowded here. It really isn't easy to chase. Cutter climbs onto the rotation. He wants to stay up high to see far. The juniors also chase up. As a result, Cutter kicked him down. Rain saw that the situation was not right and quickly ran away. But Cutter is extremely heroic. He immediately flew and grabbed him. Now the FBI also rushed too. They finally caught Rain on the case. But is it over? Rain gave a monstrous smile. The story is not over yet. It's the first time seeing such a defiant terrorist. He was arrested by the FBI, but not a bit shaken. He smiled wryly. Made Cutter want to fight him. It turns out that Rain had ordered earlier that if there was no news within 20 minutes, his juniors would kill all the passengers. There was no other way. The FBI had to respond to his needs. They arranged more people. All the police are waiting for orders. Snipers are also deployed. A few people. They just waited for the plane to open and then fired. But unexpectedly, in the sniper team there were insiders. Rain escapes into the plane. Seeing the plane about to take off, Cutter dealt with the insider. He quickly got in the car and chased the plane. He wanted when the plane took off, he would crawl up. Then he silently entered the aircraft compartment. Seeing the junior in the corner, Cutter immediately came to beat him. The junior is too flawed, so he can't avoid it. Next, Cutter gave him some punches. Then Cutter crawls through the ventilation hole. Then he crawled into the cockpit to handle the flight attendant. In the end, only Rain remained. The match is fierce. Two people fighting continuously. They pulled the trigger and broke the plane's glass. The two people fought indiscriminately. Cutter suddenly turned around. One leg kicks the left side. The other foot kicks on the right. The third kick on Rain's face caused him to fall off the plane. Rain disappeared into the air 10,000 miles high. Finally, the plane landed safely. Cutter also welcomes a new spring.